If you are an overthinker, here's the first thing you need to know. It's not wrong to overthink. The usefulness of overthinking is that overthinking tends to be like an alarm clock. It's an alarm clock that reminds us that when we are overthinking on a consistent basis, it's a sign that our heart is closed instead of opened. A lot of the questions that I tend to receive, and the questions that we all have throughout our life, are questions of uncertainty. I'm uncertain why this happened in my life. I'm uncertain why this relationship ended so quickly. I'm uncertain what my life purpose is. And I think the common denominator is that we have been trained as a society to believe that we actually have to wage an internal war against uncertainty, that I have to find something called clarity, and once I know what the plan is, then I step into that plan. And what we actually find as heart-centered beings is that we don't actually have to have a war against uncertainty. We actually have to boldly befriend uncertainty and to know that the things we don't know on purpose, and knowing it isn't going to actually make us more aligned, happy, and fulfilled. So the first thing I like to teach people is that even though we're being frustrated by the mind, our invitation is to not fight with the things that are fighting with us. So if we stop fighting with the mind and we say, look, my mind is overactive, I have this monkey brain, monkey mind type thing, but the first thing for me to do is to befriend it. Because if I can befriend it, I'm showing it respect. And because we live in a world of unity consciousness, the respect I show something becomes the respect I feel within myself. I think if we look at our physiology as spiritual beings, everything inside of us that we've maybe labeled as a flaw or something that is less than our highest will or ethics is really just information that Spirit is trying to give us to help us remind ourselves what we really need. And when we find ourselves or can catch ourselves really looping on regrets, looping in fantasies, looping in why me, why this, how come it couldn't have happened differently. When we find ourselves mentally looping, the sound of our thoughts is that very alarm clock that says your mind is only as preoccupied and noisy as your heart is closed. So if the mind can't relax, we go to the body. Just like when the body is balled up in fear, we go to our mind. And so we always work with the opposite. And when we take time to love our hearts, to be grateful for what we have, when we take time to appreciate ourselves and to give ourselves the compliments and encouragement that we're waiting for other people to give us, we open up our hearts once again. And in being an open-hearted, aligned spiritual being, the mind has delivered its message and can actually quiet down naturally, because the mind isn't making noise for any other reason but to remind us to open our hearts once again.